An ex-employee of Valve, Chet faliszek, shared his thoughts on Counter-Strike 2. Chet has previously been involved in the story writing for Half-Life, Portal, and has personally written Left 4 Dead. He even has writing credits for Dota 2 and CSGO. But it wasn't until 2017 when Chet announced he was leaving Valve. Since then, you can find his TikTok and YouTube where he shares his experience of the games industry. Chet, when talking about CS2, begins with players complaining about the removal of some features.
First, I understand if people are angry about some of the Counter-Strike 2 stuff being removed and some of the mods being removed, the skins, like all that stuff. I understand that. And the wholesale replace, like, it's okay to be angry, right? Like it is. I have some faith that the team there is hard at work to fix all that, to go forward, but you always got to start somewhere, even if it doesn't feel complete. They started here. They had to start somewhere.
He then goes into the comparisons of CS2 and Valorant.
But when you say comments like this, and say it's just just a CSGO and replaced it with a abomination copy of Valorant, to think that Valorant and Counter-Strike are the same games is to not make some impressive point, but to show that you are illiterate in game design and unable to explain the difference between the two games, right? Valorant takes a lot of what League of Legends did with character effects, skills, and classes, and brings that forward into an FPS, right? That's something that Overwatch had done as well, right? So really, Valorant is built on a lot of ideas of Overwatch. I give credit to both teams. Both teams are super smart, so I don't want to diminish it that way. But they both build on top of Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike in Counter-Strike 2, the interesting thing is it's still Counter-Strike. It is not taking any of the Valorant stuff and made it into here, right? There are no big special effects. You are not shooting spells out of your gun there, huh? I mean, the biggest spell is you can run faster with a knife than a rifle, right? So when you get mad at it, especially on my page, let's talk about it reasonably and sensibly and not with a bunch of hyperbole and noise, because there's not a conversation to be had here. It's not like Valorant. It's not. No amount of you yelling at me and calling me stupid will bring it true. And I don't think you're calling me stupid here. Maybe you are. I think you followed this up with something that's also kind of at the same anger level. But understand how these games are different, the places that they're playing, right?
He continues on and talks about his time at Valve while they were working on CSGO.
So when we were making CSGO, I remember I did an interview where I purposely got the guy to ask me everything about what was in there. Were there like kill streak rewards? So you can do like, because Call of Duty was really big then, like all of these different things, just to say no. Because you know what Counter-Strike is? It's the best Counter-Strike game. And Counter-Strike 2 is the best Counter-Strike game. Yes, it's got stuff it's got to add to it. But that's the way to think about it, is like, it is always going to be the best version of what it is because nobody else can be it.
And then decide to give some final words on the topic.
Right? Other people can make a better shooter, but they can make a better Counter-Strike. And to the team's credit, they went through and they made a better Counter-Strike here, I think. And so you can say it is lacking some stuff, it needs some work. CSGO needed work as well when we launched it, right? But give the team credit that they're smart, that they're playing the game they made the game that you were playing that you love, right? That's always that weird thing. Like, they made the game you love. Can you give them some credit that they're working towards that again? But maybe it's a little rough, and I get the replacement and all of that. Like I talked about that a little earlier. But give them credit for that, can we? And then when we talk about it, let's use actual words and language that describes the issues you're having with the game, because it is hardly a copy of Valorant, unless you have never played Valorant.
It's not often we hear the thoughts of an ex-Valve dev talking about Counter-Strike 2, so it's great to hear their insight. Some players agree with what Chet had to say, all they are seeking is a negative feedback loop, while others brought up the point that although the release deadline was missed for CS2, it could have stayed in the beta a bit longer to iron out the issues. And then there were other players who just don't like the CSGO was not great at the start excuse. Overall though, for CS2, updates have slowed down drastically, with the last one being on January 4th, over 2 weeks ago at this point. So let's hope whatever update they are getting ready is a big one.